questions? Well, we've got answers, and we have the man to answer them, Jeffrey Levine from Buckingham Wealth Strategies. Jeffrey, I've got another email in my inbox from someone who needs some help.
All right, let's hear the question.
So it goes like this. I'm in my 20s and plan to buy an engagement ring. What are some things I should be thinking about with respect to costs? I understand the rule of thumb is that I should spend at least 2 months' salary on the engagement ring. What about the other stuff like cut, clarity, color?
That's a really interesting question, and it's one that I'm glad that I've at least been through this process once myself to be able to provide some guidance in answering. Let me break this into two parts. First, let's talk dollars, and then let's talk about cut and clarity and all that sort of stuff. So from a dollar perspective, forget the 2 months of salary rule. That is a old rule of thumb. Actually, there's some research out there that a lot of millennials are even getting away from that altogether. They're finding that they would rather see that money spent elsewhere. And that's a personal choice. It's one that is a personal choice for you. Obviously, a great percentage of that choice probably is going to be influenced by how important it is to your future spouse, but maybe it's not that important. Or maybe there's a ring in the family somewhere or a stone in the family that can be used that has more value. In my particular situation, when I decided to get married, I ended up using a stone that belonged to my grandmother to create a new ring. So we took a stone from that was available and we created a brand new ring. And, it didn't actually cost that much. Now, the diamond was free to me. Obviously, it was a gift, but it didn't really matter. It had meaning. And my wife is fairly close with my or with my grandparents. And so it had meaning to her as well. And I think that's the bigger part is there something else that is that has more value than just the dollars attached to it. Now, when it comes to cut and clarity and size of the stone, I will say this. It is, in general, better to have a high quality diamond that is smaller because the wow factor generally comes from that sparkle, right? Which and I spent a lot of time. I'm a nerd, right? And I think we both can acknowledge that I'm a pretty big nerd. So I spent a lot of time researching this, and as it turns out, in my family, we actually had two stones available. There was one larger stone that was a lower quality stone, but it was bigger. And then there was the smaller stone that we ultimately went with. That was a much higher quality. The cut was, and it was just, it popped more. You had those rainbow hues coming. And look, I'm not a diamond expert. And I'm not, more importantly, more than anything, I'm not your future fiance. So it's really about what they want. But I would say in most instances, the people I have talked with would tell you to prioritize the cut and, more importantly, the clarity over the actual size of the stone, because a smaller stone with a good cut and high quality can actually look bigger than a larger stone that lacks the clarity there. The one thing I would add is, be very careful of where you shop. If you can go direct to like a diamond broker, that may be your best bet in terms of getting a more affordable or more reasonable price.
Yeah. So I only have one follow-up question, which is if someone wanted to surprise someone with an engagement ring, to have them look at the ring in advance kind of ruins the surprise, but that may be the price you pay for making sure that it's something that the other person likes.
Yeah. I mean, for me, we were far enough down the path that we looked at magazines together and kind of did the, oh, what do you like? What do you like? And over time, I just kind of created a mental Rolodex of things and then ultimately had a ring built around the stone that I had that kind of matched some of the qualities that I knew that my now wife, but at the time, future fiance really liked, or stayed away from the things that she didn't like. But look, let's face it, friends, family, they are great resources when it comes to this. Not always, but a lot of young women have talked about, the day when they may get married, or have other friends who have been married and may have discussed, oh, I love your ring, or I really like that. Their friends and family are great resources for this information. Obviously, it requires the trust that they keep your proposal, a secret if you want this to be a surprise. But hopefully they can, hopefully they'll do that, because at the end of the day, it's not just, for you, it's also for their friend as well.
All right. So that two things. One, that merits a hammer, and we'll save the question about how to pay for the wedding for another time.
Win the lottery. That's it. Just win the lottery.
All right. So how can people ask us questions?
Yeah, if you've got more questions, then go ahead and email us at askthehammer@buckinghamgroup.com. Again, that's askthehammer@buckinghamgroup.com. And we look forward to answering your questions here each and every week.